There we go. Hey, we're back. And today you can see right over Rich's shoulder there. We're going to talk fire pits. What are we doing? How do you build one? Is there a safe way to do it? Do you just throw some rocks in a pile and put a fire in the middle? How do you get that done? No. Here we go. So, first, make sure you dingle on that bell, hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified next time we post a new video. And you can always leave us a message down there too. Go ahead and type in a question, a comment. We're always interested in hearing that stuff. Hit that share button. And there we go. Look at that. We got a far.
Well, that's like your classic stone fire pit.
Yeah. No, that you could just probably pick those stones up pretty much anywhere too, couldn't you? I mean,
Yeah, those are just the wall caps for most retaining wall blocks.
okay.
So those are just the caps, and you can buy them at the angle, and then a lot of them will have the stuff in the back. So concrete bricks or pavers just need a little bit of gravel, some sand and some landscape adhesive.
So
Just glue them rocks together.
so instead of using some mortar mix or anything like that, you're saying just glue them together?
Yeah, they basically make polyurethane adhesive that
Oh,
will work quite well on those. And you should be doing that even if you're building a retaining wall.
okay. Yeah, gluing them together with the polyurethane
Hmm.
caulk then, right? There
Yeah,
it's a specialty caulk just for that or glue.
yeah. But I mean, it's a pretty simple process. I mean, you just got to pick a place in your yard where you'd like to have a fire pit. Make sure you don't have any pine trees right above you. Keep it at least 20 feet from the house. Just kind of silly stuff, right?
Common sense things.
Yes.
So,
Anyway, just put a stake in the ground, a piece of string, and some spray paint. You can go around with tie the can to the string. If you want a 4 foot fire pit, 2 feet of string, make a circle, makes 4 feet, that kind of thing.
wow. Yeah, there you
Go
go.
ahead and draw that out and then just dig out the sod 4 or 5
Uh-huh.
inches. Put your stone in there, give yourself a good stone base, and then just start stacking your circle.
And that's what they did here. That's that stone. They just looks like they did crushed limestone that
Yeah,
put
doesn't
in
have to be
there.
anything crazy fancy. You know, I do have some concerns because I'm not sure about building the walls. It says stack of pavers, but yet if they're concrete pavers, concrete has a tendency to explode when it overheats.
Uh-huh.
So you might want to ask or look up the manufacturer and see if it's suitable
For this
for a
use.
fire pit.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
I
that.
mean,
That's
we've
true.
seen, and it's possible they're conditioned, but I mean, that's why you can't just take river rock and put it around a fire pit either. They can explode. They have trapped air and so on. So it's dangerous actually. Anyway, other thing, if you wanted to take this particular one, and this is really your classic, probably the easiest in some respects to build, but if you wanted to take this a step further and make it smokeless, you'd actually be able to put a ring inside a metal ring and then leave a gap below that metal ring and then just leave some of the bottom stones out, like half stones, things like that, so that you could draw air from outside through the bottom of that ring, and that will supposedly it causes my assumption is that the wood burns hotter, so then any smoke would be above your head, not smoldering in your eyes.
Yeah, but it also then will um yeah, like you said, it's gonna burn through the wood a lot faster. Yeah.
Yeah, that cord you bought it, in spring, but you might go through that a little faster. But if you don't have to keep moving your chair, because the smoke's chasing you.
That's so and
I don't
that's
know
so that's really what
lifestyle.
what the smokeless is doing is making the fire hotter so that the smoke is created higher up so it's not in your face. That's really the goal of what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, I wouldn't call it smokeless, but it would call it hotter and above your head fire pit. But smokeless sounds a lot better, and it definitely sell more books.
yeah, because wherever I stand, that's where the smoke is.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
And I mean, this project, I mean, you could probably get that done in a day. You know what I mean? If
Oh,
you
this
got to find a ring, that's a whole different animal. But they're available online. You can get a 2 foot ring, 30-inch ring, so on. That's all you got to buy, and then everything else is, go to the box store and get what you need.
Right. And they also, I'm sure, like the landscape centers, they'll have that kind of stuff
Sure.
specifically designed for the fire pits.
And you might be better off, maybe it costs you $1 more, I don't know, but you might be better off going to a landscape supplier than to a box store, but they should have better information.
Right.
You said make sure that they are suitable for high heat.
Correct. Exactly. So
Okay.
what do you got next?
How about the in-ground version?
Oh, there you go.
That's for the overachiever.
Okay. Somebody that got tired of their fish pond and now wants a fire pit.
Well, there you go. You're downsizing your fish pond. There you
Right.
go. No, I mean, actually, for most people, especially if you live in a city or something, this isn't really, it's not so much you won't do it or you can't do it. You're sitting there going, what am I going to do with the dirt?
Right. Where does it go?
Where does it go? I mean, you got someplace you can dump the dirt.
Right.
We always told guys when they're trying to find a place to get rid of the dirt, we told them to dig a hole and bury it.
Uh-huh. There you go. So,
But I think it's a more natural appearance. I like this one in particular. And these again are just photos I pull off the intranet.
right.
And I like this one because somebody look like Chicago Commons,
Right in
did
here.
them in a soldier pattern.
Yep.
And then those other ones, it's weird because they look like cast paving stones that are meant to interlock.
Yeah. Don't they make those like those stamping kits with concrete? You
They
know?
do. And you could get them I know I've seen them at the Blue store,
Yep.
fairly reasonable. And they actually sell color concrete just for that.
Yep.
So you could take a little more time and make your ring up a little nicer. And, if you have a saw, you could probably cut those to fit a little better. But all the same, I think that's a great looking fire pit. But look at the smoke
Uh-huh.
because you can't get air to the bottom. See, it's just, I suppose you could do PVC or a metal pipe, right?
Oh, yep. Okay, there you go.
Bury that and maybe have that behind your chairs, a couple tree of those, and maybe you
Uh-huh.
can pull some combustion air from there and it make a hotter fire.
So I wonder if the pipe was hot. So if you had a metal pipe in there, that pipe got hot, would that then draw the cool air through there and actually create a
Start causing a convection current. Might go the
yeah,
opposite. When the heat
it's hot to
rises, it's going
cold.
to create the stack effect and draw air.
Right. So it's hot to cold. So yeah, who knows? It could. That'd be something to try. We need an experiment now.
Oh yeah,
Or
there we
maybe
go.
somebody will leave a comment below and say we're idiots. Here's what happens.
Yeah, well, it'd probably be one of our friends that have degrees in physics.
Yes. There you go.
So that was pretty simple, right? Landscaping, flagstones, construction, heat, gravel, and sand, and just the same thing. Choose your location, safe. Consider wind direction and the distance from your structures. Just arrange your flagstones in a circle and dig a hole slightly larger, so about 12 inches.
Right.
Give yourself a base layer of sand for drainage and leveling, and then install your stones at the bottom and the perimeter, and just fill the gaps with pea gravel,
Pea gravel.
little gravel.
Okay. Do you think the pea gravel is really necessary?
No, I think it might be fine if you put some of your dirt back in there and then threw some grass seed on it,
And then just let it.
fill in. Because I mean, unless you build a bonfire, the grass is going to survive. But if you do a really hot fire, anything downwind, you may cook the grass again.
Right.
But if you do a small fire like they've got here, I would say the grass would be quite fine.
Yeah. Who knows? I guess it's something to try, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And then what do you got?
Well, now we're going to do the budget-friendly brick one.
Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, there you go. But that's got a back to it. That's actually pretty cool. And you're calling that budget friendly?
Yeah, because I mean those paver bricks are pretty inexpensive, maybe $1.20 a piece.
Oh, yeah.
But you could see what they did too. They left the bottom ones open,
Uh-huh.
So now you're building that semi-smokeless, right? Because you've got combustion air being pulled in from the bottom. You're protecting whatever's over behind the high side. I actually thought that was actually a pretty cool looking design, pretty simple.
Yes. And
So, I mean, you could literally sit here, you could probably figure out how many bricks you'd have to buy to build that exact same thing.
mm-hmm.
But same thing, just find a nice spot in your yard, dig it out, put in that gravel to level it, some sand, so you got drainage. Just start going in a circle with them stones. Like I said, leave the gap at the bottom row or the bottom two rows, and you'll have a way to draw in combustion air.
Well, and the other thing is because this has got a back to it, so now that's going to reflect the heat. You really are going to sit on one side of it. But if you
Right.
were building that into the side of a hill or something like that, that might be a good way to do it too. If you wanted, if you had just seating on one side.
Right. So again, you still have the option too. You could still put a metal ring in there, like a liner.
Yep.
Um, but no, I think this fire pit's like really simple, especially if you're not, like even the wall capstones. No, they're 35 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're not that, don't want to go lug all those around, or maybe your Toyota Celica is not going to handle the weight.
Yep.
You can make a couple of trips for these bricks, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
They're
done.
easier to deal with or lighter.
Correct. And it doesn't even look like they glued them together. Looks like they just
Nah,
snapped.
it doesn't look like it. And even the so-called steps here says doesn't tell you to glue these.
Interesting.
But I like that one. I thought that was pretty cool. And if you get tired of it, you can still do a garbage can pad or something out of them.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to throw them away.
You can reuse them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That one, with all the gravel, they got no air coming into the bottom.
Right. I wonder if they use that inside ring for that. So now the air goes, through the side over the brick and goes down the ring and then in.
I don't think so. I think that ring is more to protect it from the stone.
Okay.
But if you leave that, like say, if you have that ring sitting on top of those capstones and left a gap at the bottom, now you've got combustion air coming in. Oh, the zooming in helps.
Yes. I realized I could do that.
It's cool. Well, I've been doing this a couple of years. That's all right. YouTube or Zoom, they keep changing stuff, so I get it.
Yeah, this
Yep,
is a cool.
that's nice. They're going to be needing some new Adirondack chairs. They're getting kind of
Tattered.
tattered. Damn comfortable chairs though.
Yes, they are.
And then the last one is not for your backyard, but it's not what you would normally think is a fire pit.
All right. Explain this one now. This is chimenea, right?
Years ago, I was flipping through some stuff and I came across a design like this and I thought it was really cool. Only thing was in the catalog, it was like 60 inches tall.
Okay.
That's 5 foot. My backyard at the time was an acre and I had like a patio out there. I think it was an old shed or something that the shed was gone, the slab was there, right? So
Uh-huh.
this little 5 foot fire pit thing would have been lost in the trees. Like it just, so I needed something about 9 feet tall.
Holy smokes.
So I did it. Look, this is made from Corten steel, and Corten steel uh, doesn't rust through. Like all shipping containers are made from Corten steel. The Picasso in Daily Plaza is Corten steel. It gets a patina like this, but it doesn't rust. It's very cool stuff.
Huh.
So this one's got the log holder in the bottom. You've got your fire pit thingy on top. One I made my own. I bought a sheet of steel. I had a fabricator who happened to have a break, cut it to piece to my measurements. I brought it home, welded it together. And you could get a welding shop. You could draw this up, take it to any metal shop. I guarantee you they can get you the steel. They can draw it, cut
Right.
it and weld it up. The coolest thing is mine had mostly open front. And when this would burn, you have a fire in there, no matter the wind direction, you didn't get smoke in your face. It worked like a chimney, and the heat made the smoke go up, but also made the fire do a spiral.
Oh, really?
Not something I anticipated, but absolutely loved when you had a fire going.
So
The other warning I would give you though is because it's all steel and the steel gets hot. If you've got children around, make sure you put bricks or something around this, or you know what I mean? The whole time I had mine, it was my biggest fear. You know, if we had a whole bunch of people over and one of the kids went to the backside and put their hand on it, they'd be severely injured. So
right.
even this style, because there's nothing there for protection. So, but I just wanted to throw this out there because I just think if you can get to a local welding shop or metal guy, he'd probably enjoy making something like this for you. And the steel's not that expensive. And once it's cut and, you know, and so on, you don't paint it, nothing, just leave it.
Right. Right. So I mean, obviously we've talked about the fire pits and making your own. They've got those cheapy metal ones that you can buy, that are just made for your patio. And then they have the clay chimenea ones that are similar to this, but those are really going to be a lot smaller. They're not going to, you don't have the versatility of making the seating one like what's behind your head or like this here.
Exactly. I mean, if you want something that's, I don't want to say usable or more practical. I mean, again, like you said, the small ones for the patio aren't bad, small one for your deck. But if you entertain a lot, you need to get 8 people around it. You might want to do just something like the one behind me or one of the other ones we showed. I mean, this one's beautiful.
Yes. And this works out perfect. All right. Well, if you got any questions about your fire pit and how to build one, we're more than happy to answer your questions. Just go ahead and enter that down below, make a comment, and we'll let you know what your answers are for that. Anyway, I guess we could pretty much just say, keep it square and level
And round.
until next time. And then
Until next time.
make sure you put dingle your bell and do your
Subscribe. Please subscribe.
subscribe thing on the bottom there too.
There you go. And we're out.
We really closed that one strong.